I didn't want to go to school today. My brain's been too loud and I'm just exhausted. I know I can afford to miss just one day. It's just that one day, on the 19th of April 2016, Abu Bakr Hassan Mohammed Taha, a university student at the age of 18, was shot in the head by the National Intelligence and Secret Service agents of Sudan. He was protesting peacefully. But in a country where the authorities repeatedly confiscate newspaper print runs, even the children of victims, the system omits them, but it's not just that. It is estimated around 250 lives have been taken by chemical attacks executed by the Sudanese government. Most of the dead were kids. I don't need to say it can't go on like this. In the Blue Nile state, people live in fear that their skies might just welcome the planes that bring death to their doors. I can't imagine it any other way than a war. But then what do we stand for? When there are 4.8 million people who have been in need of humanitarian assistance in Sudan since 2017 alone, 800,000 refugees in crisis with no homes, and on the TVs here, none of this is shown. The world's least reported war. There's no security when the authorities are the ones bombing schools, ruining hospitals and markets and hiding all this from the news. The UN calls this one of the world's worst humanitarian crises in the world, and yet most of my classmates haven't even heard about it. We're curled up in bed, turning only with the wind, while they're curled up in fists, protesting the winged death in the air. When the children hear the sound of the Antonov, they run. And even when their mothers call them, they don't come. No contraception has been given for the past 5 years, and pregnant women are given vitamins for when their little ones appear. Just because the laws are different from what they might be here doesn't mean we turned a blind eye to the girls who've disappeared, to the ones who've been imprisoned for committing dreadful crimes such as showing off their hair, which their morality laws deny. When the president himself has been issued warrants for charges of genocide by the International Criminal Court, and the government below him issues out his unjust laws, how could we expect anything more? And there's a place on this planet where girls aren't allowed to live or learn. And when the boys try to go to school, they find out that their buildings have been burned. Civilians are targeted, yet refused humanitarian aid, and I'm standing here, knowing this, whining about school with no shame. I'm sorry to the people whose stories we don't hear. As we moan about our lives, you continue to live in fear, and I know it's only little, but I've got a lot to say. So I'll bring this poem to my people, and we'll try find another way.